It's been a while since I shared a planning routine, a daily planning routine, and today I'm just going to run through how I plan my days. Planning systems have to change depending on circumstance and what your priorities are. So my planning systems have changed a lot over the years. Benjamin Franklin said, "By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail." And Abraham Lincoln said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." If you plan effectively, you can make much better use of your time, and that can help you work towards your goals, but also just make sure you're leaving time for everything that's important to you. So yes, maybe I do spend quite a lot of time planning, but it does feel like a good use of my time. So anyway, this video is going to be split into 2 parts. First of all, I'm going to talk through the key planning apps and methods that I use. Then I will break down my process of actually writing a to-do list, and I will show you what a to-do list looks like for me. I use 4 main things. Notion is my holy grail and my main hub for keeping track of long to-do lists. So I have 1 page per month, and then within this page I've got a page per week. This is where I keep my huge lists of everything I want to do. All of my broad planning is done on Notion. However, my daily planning is done in my academic planner. This is what I actually write my to-do list in every day. Then I use Google Calendar for time blocking and keeping track of events and recurring events. And finally, if I have a day where I've got lots to do and I really want to structure my tasks, then I will use the app Teux Deux. I have a paid subscription for this. I pay about £3 per month, and I'd say I probably use it about 2 times a week. I find this most useful if I'm doing a task with lots of tiny subtasks to it. Oh, and I should also say I use scrap paper a lot for writing out massive brain dumps of things I want to get done. I used to write my to-do list in the morning, but sometimes that would lead to some time wasted like procrastinating in the morning. I like to write my to-do list the night before because it means that when I wake up, I already know what I'm going to do, and it eliminates that choice. Choice overload is a very real thing, and when we're given too much choice, it can become overwhelming and we can just end up not doing anything. And actually there's an incredible TED talk by Granger called How to Make Choosing Easier.
Today I want to talk about one of the biggest modern day choosing problems that we have, which is the choice overload problem.
And she basically talks about how choosing something is much harder when we've got loads and loads of choice, and having a long to-do list can be overwhelming in the same way. Like, you wake up and there's so much you could do. If I look at my long weekly to-do list of everything I want to do, that can be quite overwhelming because I'm like, well, there are so many things I could choose to do here, so which one am I going to do? Paring down and making that to-do list ahead of time, I just find really helpful for keeping myself focused and getting straight into doing something. Because that's another thing, I like to start my day with what I would deem like an important task, something which is either very daunting or is just important to me to get done, and that way I really feel like I've accomplished something early in the morning, which should spur me on to keep on being productive the rest of the day. And I like to be very clear about that first task I'm going to do so that I don't procrastinate, I don't fumble, I just jump straight into doing it. But how do I actually write my to-do list? So I mentioned before that I have a monthly spread, I have weekly spreads, and then I have daily spreads. Every week on Notion I will make a list of all of the key things that I want to get done that week, and I will just separate these under different sections of my life. So on the template I've got a space for personal, for work, for YouTube, etc. And then I will take the biggest tasks and I will divvy those up for each of the days of the week. Importantly though, this isn't a to-do list for that day, it's more of a deadline. So I don't have to get it done on that day, but I have to get it done by that day. And I prefer this because I don't always know what I'm going to fancy doing on a particular day, and I also might have found time earlier in the week to complete it. It sounds like it shouldn't give me flexibility, but I find having deadlines as opposed to the tasks just makes it feel more flexible. With bigger tasks, that just works much better for me. So I have these deadlines and I have my weekly to-do list. Then every night, the night before, I will go through this big weekly to-do list and I will write up my daily to-do list, just a list of maybe 5 to 8 things that I want to get done the next day, and I will also pop in any small under 5-minute tasks which I need to do. I like to write these down and I like to do all of my admin tasks at once. I really don't like doing admin. Then after doing that, I will just color code it. So I have a color code system for, again, each of the different areas of my life. The reason I do this is just to make sure that my to-do list is sort of balanced and I am prioritizing and making time for all of the different areas of my life. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm on a kind of gap year at the moment, but I still do have a few things on, and they're quite distinct areas. So I work part-time, I do YouTube and social media, I have a stationery company, and I'm currently trying to finish a draft of my book for my agent. I don't have as much to do as I did last year, but there are still different things to juggle, and colour coding just visually lets me see that I'm actually doing something for each of these areas. It doesn't mean that every day I have to do something for each of those sections, but broadly in the planner I can look through the to-do list for the week and make sure that there is some kind of even distribution. Then the final thing that I will do is just number the tasks. I like that it takes away the choice, just lets me know where I am a bit better, so I finish a task and I know already which task I'm going to do next. Genuinely, it's such a big productivity hack and one that I'd highly recommend you doing with your to-do list. So then the final thing is using To Do, which I don't use every day. So I use it as an additional supplement if I just need a little bit more structure. So I'll just use a bold heading for each of the different sections of my life, as I was talking about before, and then I will put all of the tasks for that section underneath, and then I'll just work through these one by one. So I'll do all of the YouTube stuff first, then all of the stuff for work, then all of the writing bits. Getting at with mentioning To Do is how good it is for breaking up tasks. So if you've got a really daunting task and you've got lots of little things you need to do as part of it, it can just feel more manageable and easier to break it up into smaller tasks, and To Do is a really great way to do this. So that's my planning routine, and I hope that you have more than just a productive week.